Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Feels like it's been a while since I've made one of these videos. I mean, it's kind of been 2 weeks, I think, since I made a video, since I've sat down and recorded a video. Lots of stuff going on, no time really. But anyway, this tutorial. So we've all been there, we've taken an amazing photo and we've been really proud of it. We've edited it, we've sent it over to our friends, to our family, and then your mum, your dad, your nan, your sister, whatever, they then share it on Facebook with a black and white filter on it. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all had that done to us, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. But anyway, that black and white filter looks horrendous. They've undone all of your hard work, and they're saying, go check out this person with an edit on a photo that's not yours. You can see where I'm going with this. So I am here to take out the middleman and to show you a few quick tips on how to edit black and white photos in Lightroom. Let's go. Alright, so you're going to take your photo, you're going to load it into Lightroom, or you might already have it in Lightroom. I'm not going to judge you for either way. So take your photo, this also works in Luminar, Capture One, whatever you're using. So let's move on. Oh, and I've got my laptop down here so I can talk you through the steps that I'm going through at the same time. So screen recording, cut in and stuff. Okay, so just under basic settings, you're going to select black and white. This will immediately flip your image to black and white, and that's fine, but the journey doesn't really stop there. From here on out, there's a few parameters which have now been customized to work specifically under black and white workflow. For instance, let's take a look at the color tab. So now under the color tab, instead of having your HSL sliders, or you might have it under color where you have each color, the saturation, the hue and the luminance all at once, depends which way you work. That has now been converted to what's called the black and white mix. What this is essentially doing is controlling the luminance of the colors behind the black and white edit, which will in turn change the grayscale value and percentage that is represented in the black and white photo. By using these sliders and in conjunction with pressing the Y key on your keyboard to see a before and after, you can actually control exactly which color, and then you can still see exactly which color you're going after in your preview against your current edit. So from these specific sliders, you can really customize a lot of your image, and it can really shape using the colors that were previously available. And it's something that I do, is I tend to change the luminance to make certain things stand out and certain things drop back into the background. Okay, so next tip, something I learned recently from Jake Healy Photo, is to take the blacks and lift them almost completely, and take the highlights and drop them almost completely. Now, what this is doing is almost zapping out some of the contrast, but oddly not in the same way that reducing the contrast slider would. Now, what I like to do on top of this is also drop the whites and lift the shadows at the same time. This gives a very interesting effect. Now, I'm not saying do it all the way. It's obviously going to change on each individual photo, but using this in conjunction with your presence sliders and your contrast slider is going to give you a really nice effect. Now, I do find, and this is another tip that I picked up from my buddy Jake, is that by using the dehaze slider, you can also affect the contrast. So instead of using the contrast slider, use the dehaze slider and some S-curves to really drive in the contrast that you want inside the image that you're editing. So as you can see on this image, I've already pre-cropped it. I've changed some of that black and white mix on this photo. I've amended those sliders for the exposures. So I've changed obviously my blacks, my highlights, my whites, and my shadows. And that's left me with this really interesting look, which I made pop with the dehaze, which really kind of brought out all of the speckles on Arlo, that's my dog, Arlo's face and his body, which I felt just kind of really brought out his character, because generally that's what he looks like in real life. Okay, now where you might in color editing change the hue, the saturation to make a specific subject or thing pop, let's not forget about our friend the radial filter and also the gradient filter. Specifically, the radial filter for me is one of those key Lightroom tools that I use on almost every photo. It really helps to bring out certain parts of an image. whether or not you're taking a portrait and you want to make someone's eyes pop, or in this instance you just kind of want to like brighten up and give more clarity and dehaze to the face of this wonderfully gorgeous puppo. I'm a little bit biased, I know, but you know, how can you resist that little face? I mean, look at him, he's just so cheeky. And then by adding a gradient filter as well, you can also, you know, if this was a landscape photo, you could then bring down the sky, or you might be able to, you know, darken a slight part of the image that might be a little bit too eye-catching for your preference. If you don't already use these filters, I would highly suggest using them, because for me, they're like a massive, massive part of my workflow. They're really not too complex and they won't take you very long to pick up whatsoever. So I'd suggest going back through some of your photos, try adding this radial filter and see where it takes you. All right, so there it is. That's the image that I edited. This was taken using the Sigma 10-20mm lens on the Canon EOS M50 with the Viltrox 0.71 times speed reducer, just in case you wanted any idea of reference on what this was shot. I use lens profile correction, distortion, all that kind of jazz. I use all of that on every photo that I take, because why wouldn't you? I mean, you're correcting something, therefore something needs to be corrected, therefore correct it. Obviously you can't use that on vintage lenses like the Helios, which I really like using, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see that I take a lot of photos with the Helios. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So that's what that image looks like. And I mean, yeah, if you've used any of these techniques after watching this video, please feel free to either tweet them to me or tag me in them on Instagram. My handle is @George_Demner on both of them. Links are in my description. If you can't be bothered to type it out, you just click it and it will go to it. But that is it for this video. I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. Editing in black and white is a lot of fun. It's a real nice change if you don't always do it. And you know, sometimes it helps you think a little bit differently, especially if you're thinking of the black and white part before you've taken the photo. More on that in another video. But for now, that is it for this video. Don't forget to like this if you did like it. If you didn't like it, then sorry, I guess. Feel free to leave the comment down below saying whether or not you found this helpful, or if you have any further questions, I will always get back to you. Don't forget to get subscribed, like the bell to stay up to date for whenever I release a new video, and until the next one, see ya.